That would be a church life. How many people around this world in different nations are looking one upon another? Basically, they're not getting up and doing anything and just going, oh, if only there was a church in my town. Oh, if only there was a church. And don't get me wrong, some people are well-meaning. They send me an email sometimes going, do I know if there's a church in wherever in this country? A lot of the time it'll be. And it's like, look, the reality of it is I have no more ability than they do to look for a church. Now, they might be asking, do I think that there's a legitimate church? And I can't really confidently recommend a church in this nation, sadly. And you go, that's a bit weird. And look, the reality of it is, because I looked for church for a long time, and every one I ended up thinking, well, I think this is doable, ended up being bad. Okay, I can't, but what I always say to people is, by all means, still look. However, you know what? How about you come and visit a proper church? How about you try and find some people and get out there and get soul winning and start doing stuff for God? Because so many people, they're just kind of waiting, and then they wait their whole lives away. And it's like, just one day God might bless us with a church in wherever, yet you could have literally just got in a car, got on a train for a few hours and gone to a proper church. And pretty much in most places in this nation, it's not the worst journey, you know? And there are people that do that weekly. There are people that in this church that do long journeys weekly. There are people that all over the world that do weekly long journeys. And you show me in the Bible where it says you need to have a church within 5 minutes of your house. Instead of looking upon one another, we should be getting us down thither, not just with a church. And like I said, if you don't have one in your nation, get soul winning, get doing stuff. And you don't automatically just deserve a church in your nation. Anyone, and by the way, everyone here lives in England, okay? But if you're watching online, if you ever watch this in the future, if you ever talk to people and they're going like, oh, if only we had a church in wherever, it's like, get busy then. Get busy, get working, get serving, do stuff, and you never know, God might bless you with a church. And in the meantime, try and visit churches. You go, well, that's a bit hard. Well, you know what? There's a lot of time and effort that goes into this church, isn't there? For many members of our church. And without, that time could have been spent doing extra work and earning money and saving money to be able to visit a church if they didn't have one. That time could have been spent soul winning other things. There's a lot of time, isn't there? Instead of just looking around going, well, one day it will happen. What about another one? People go, well, I just so want to get people saved. Oh, I'm not getting people saved when I turn up, once a month to church and go out soul winning or something. And it's like, well, stop looking at each other and get out and get soul winning, right? And the more you soul win, the more chance you're going to get someone saved. And then that also applies to when we're out there trying to get our family members saved, trying to get our friends saved. It's like, don't stop looking at each other. Ask them, do they want to hear the gospel? Well, God, I'm just praying for that opportunity when I'm going to be able to approach whoever with the gospel. It's like, ring them up and go, would you like to know how to get saved? I mean, that's a pretty good opportunity, isn't it? Stop looking upon each other. Ring them up, ring up your family member and say, I've just been wondering, would you like to know how you can be sure you're going to heaven? That's a pretty good opportunity. Maybe do it at a time when they're not going to be busy. Pretty simple, right? Problem solved.